Sometimes I don't understand. Are leftists blinded by their hate? Do they have wax in their ear so that they cannot hear facts? Because on three cases, Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi, and Vijay Mallya, you have to be blinded by your hatred not to see the facts. And that is why I said there are three aspects to a financial crime. You should also understand that. And I said this on Times Now. You can see a brief clip of it on my Twitter account. What are the three aspects of a crime? And I will take your questions in the end. In a bank fraud case, the first aspect is getting the loan from the bank, right? The loan amount. Getting the loan from the bank, not paying the bank. How does the loan come to you? The loan comes to you after you deposit a security. If you go to take a home loan, they will tell you to deposit a security. That security could be some other property. That security is sometimes the paper of the home you are about to buy, right? That's called security. That's the very basic. First part is how do you get the loan and what security you go. Second is that you catch the person. Oh, you saw me on Times Now. I will explain this in depth here. Times Now was obviously brief. Second is that you catch the person and jail the person. Punish the person. Third is you recover the money. These are the three aspects to it. Yes. So let us now deal with them one by one. Greetings to you too. Thank you. I'll do questions today in the end. For 2 days, after vaccination, I had high fever and days. But now I'm feeling better. So I will take your questions. We can have a chat also later on. This is where the injection was done. So anyways, let me now cover the 3 points. Loans given during Congress time, when we had this concept of phone banking. On phones, bank chairmen, directors were told to give loan by people in very powerful authorities. And you understand this. The first time a loan is given is the most important time. Why? Because entire scrutiny of documents is done then. After that, very often people renew it. They should recheck it. They should be very careful in rechecking it. But frankly, it is way easier to renew it than to get it for the first time. That's just a reality. All right, so that's a reality. So loans are given in Congress time. We have allegations that ministers were writing to Prime Minister. A BJP spokesman today on the debate said, and I think I remember it also dimly, that a minister used to write to the Prime Minister to make the loan getting easier. We have enough records of phone banking. We have enough records of Nirav Modi attending parties with the Congress High Command. All that is a matter of record. So loans are given then. Then what happens? Punishment. For 2 years, Nirav Modi is in jail. That's not easy. For 2 years, Vijay Mallya is facing the pressure in London. Mehul Choksi is still in Dominica jail, right? And is beaten black and blue. Who knows who beat him? I don't know it for sure. But he is not enjoying himself either. And the last aspect of money recovery. When was the last time you heard government recovering money from big economic fugitives? You run away, you buy a car and you don't pay. Like this, they will recover. But when did you last hear a big economic fugitive 80% recovery? 80% recovery, they are saying. I didn't want to say it on TV, but I will tell you, this is not private, but we are a family, so let me tell you. They are saying that the entire loan amount is 22,000 crores. And some people on TV said that this 18,000 crore could not be the actual amount. When you sell the property, the amount could be 15,000 crore or 14,000 crore or 10,000 crore. I don't know that. Well, two aspects. First, you gave the loans. So how big was your fraud that your securities are not the amount you say they are? That's one. B, it is not only the securities they give. Now, the investigative agencies have captured what is black money, Benami properties also. So, how are those property valued? We don't know. It could be that the amount is very good because we know there is a lot of cash involved in these properties. So, on paper, supposing something is bought for 4 crores, in this amount 40 crores, it could in actuality be 80 crores also. I don't know that. I don't know that. And thirdly, I know our investigative agencies, this I have to tell you, and this may not be very pleasant, but it happens. If they say it is a 22,000 crore scam, it could be a little less than that also. They also add all sorts of things when they bring figures to court, sometimes to exaggerate a bit, to make the crime appear bigger. That also happens. Let's be very clear. Everybody, and they are not wrong, they want to, it's not, they stretch it to every logical point to make it a big amount. That is what investigative agencies also do. So when they say it is a 22,000 crore scam, it could be a little less than that. It could be quite a bit less than that also. Right? So we have to be aware of that also. And this is the same thing with income tax. If any one of you receives an income tax notice, they will bring everything under the void into it, which may or may not last in court. Which may or may not last in court because it's their duty to make it bigger. That's the reality. Be it income tax, be it a lot of offenses which prosecution agencies do, they do increase the amounts very often. I don't know in this case that's happened or not, because for that you don't even need to study the documents. For that you will need to calculate, you will need a CA, etc., etc. But in courts very often it happens that the prosecution says one amount, even if there is chori, even if there is corruption, the amount is a lot lower. So I don't know what is happening in this case, right? So let us be honest that the amount seized, 18,000 crores, could be 20 also, could be 15 also, I don't know. The entire scam could be 22,000. I don't know whether interest is included, what level of interest is included, interest at what rate is included in that. Is it without interest? It is with interest. And lots of times, let's be very honest, banks will take a lot of hit to settle debts. So this is all floating. The figures, while important, in such a political world will not lead you to conclusion. But what is undeniable is, on these three things, BJP has done fabulously well. We have to admit that. We have to, unless you are blinded by hatred, you cannot run away from that. The only thing BJP did not do well, I will say that also. These people should not have been allowed to escape India. That's a fact. Their accountability has to be fixed. Whether airport officials helped them, whether some other officials helped them, whether some politicians helped them, that accountability needs to be fixed. But the actions taken after that clearly show that the top level of the government was not helping them, because otherwise they wouldn't have made such a strong effort to get them back. Right? If you keep Nirav Modi in jail and somebody from the top of the government had helped him, he would have talked about it by now. He would have spilled the beans on the government. Let's be clear. So it could be some mid-level officer helped them. Again, I'm being frank with you. If they escaped from India, somebody did help them. Who? That accountability needs to be fixed. That accountability should be fixed. We should not run away from it. But the efforts they have made after that shows that at least the top, nobody was involved. Otherwise, Nirav Modi or Choksi or Vijay Mallya would have blackmailed by now and said we will reveal all the beings that this minister or that minister helped us. So I don't think so. So on all parameters, the government is doing pretty well. And let's see. Okay, now let me take some questions. If you have any questions. One thing. On scam, since we are talking, Saturday, 6 p.m., have you seen Scam 1992? Harshad Mehta? The journalists who exposed that, Suchita Dalal and Debasis, they were later given Padma Shri also, and the top financial journalists of India. And you have seen them enacting the roles also. Have you seen Scam 1992? The series? It is, as you know, it is a true story of Harshad Mehta and how the scam was exposed by the journalists who exposed them. Based on their book, they have written a new book on NSC and the enormous scams which took place in NSC and how they have exposed it. Absolute power. I think it may well be made into a series also. So they would be coming on Saturday. The time has been fixed, 6 p.m. Since you're talking of scams, do join on Saturday, 6 p.m. to understand how big. Anybody of you interested in stock market or anybody who tomorrow will have money to invest in stock market, how the scams happen, you should hear and hear it now and live. So 6 p.m. we will do that. Okay, now let me take some question. Yeah, Indian government is allowed to. Yeah, you are allowed to confiscate property. Drink plenty of fluids. Yeah, I've been told that after vaccine. I anyways drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of water. Are they coming back to India? It is likely that they would come back to India because they are losing in all courts. Malaya has lost in all courts. There is a diplomatic proceeding now. Most probably, they are calling it a secret proceeding, but there are only so many things left. So most probably, it's about an asylum that he's seeking there. That's a very diplomatic decision whether they give him asylum or not. And this, I will tell you bluntly, even before the event, I do not think he should get asylum. If he gets asylum, that's a failure of Indian diplomacy. Let's be very clear, because this is a diplomatic thing. If he gets asylum, that would be a failure of Indian diplomacy. Make no bones about it. And unlike these blind leftists, I take my stance before the events. Indian government has fought very hard and won in courts. If it loses because of diplomatic reasons, that would be somehow a failure. Let us be very clear beforehand of the events. Now that failure, I don't think so will happen. I think we will manage to get him back. That's my belief in it. Let's see how it happens. Like they got Christian Mickle. That was a tremendous success of the diplomacy in Dubai. So that was a success. Let's see what will happen here. What about Netaji session? Okay, we'll do it someday. You have to, I don't know, it's low level. I'm presuming it is. It could be high level also. I'm not going to presume anything. It could be high level also. It could be any level. How do I know? I'm just saying accountability. As I said, in YouTube, we can discuss the good and the bad both, unlike a TV debate. The good is the 3 points I told you, all good. The weak point is that they should not have been allowed to escape. That is a weak point, and we have to admit that. So now you have to punish the people who did that. You have to find out. I don't have the investigative agencies. It should be found out. Absolutely, it should be found out. Who are leftists in India, sir? My definition you want? My definition of leftist are those who, I have no problems. I've never had problems with people who oppose a political party. Oppose Prime Minister Modi, say that you have somebody who's a better, either a leader or who will be better for economy or better for defense or whatever you like. Perfectly good. I call leftist as those people who are so blinded by their hate for anything which is belonging to Sanatan Dharma, anything which belongs to the roots of Indian civilization, people who, for not either, usually because of inferiority complex or because of what they have been taught as Makule Putras, have imbibed a concept of Bharat in which they look down at everything which is Bharat. To me, those are the sort of leftist I talk about. Does people from what? Does people from previous government to hear on people? Obviously, who gave them loans? These loans don't happen without jugaad. So who was the jugaad? That would bring a lot of things. If Malia gets asylum in Operation Free Nation, I absolutely agree. As I told you, Kishore, if he gets asylum, it is to my mind, very bad for India-UK relationships, and India must take action. I won't deny that. I agree with your interpretation. It will be bad for our. Why not? Okay, so many questions. Okay, communist. That's also somebody is defining leftist. Definitions don't matter, and honestly, I have not even given a deep mind to that. You can call them Naxals, you can call them leftist, you can call them anti-India brigade, you can call them Tukde gang. There are so many words. But you and me, we all know whom we are talking about. We all know whom we are talking about. And there is no end to how we can talk about. After they return, will they have to face case or direct jail? After they return to India, obviously they will be in jail for the simple reason they will have to face trial. You get punishment only after trial, but they would be in jail because they are obviously a flight risk. They can run away. So while a trial is going on, I presume they would be kept in jail. Nobody can say with certainty what will happen because it's a court process. But in this sort of a case, you can be 99% sure they will be kept in jail because they're a flight risk. They could run away from India. So no court, I don't think so any court will give them bail. UK courts in imprisoning someone who had a problem. What sort of a comment is that? You want him to be freed? What is it correlated? You want UK courts to free somebody who's looted India? I don't understand the sense of the comment. It made no sense at all. People who looted India builds a good case, have to be arrested. Otherwise, they will be enjoying there and they might flee from there. They could run away from there. That is why they arrest. That's a good thing. What historically the British have done is a completely separate topic. That's what happens is when we make a khichdi of topics, you bring everything. Do you want to rant or do you want to take out frustrations or do you want to reach to solutions? In life, you have to ask yourself that. If you just want to rant and object to everything, perfect. Sit in a room, rant, object to everything in the world. You will never reach a concrete solution. Yes, the Britishers looted India. Yes, they looted India terribly. How is that connected with a jail of Nirav Modi right now? And you still need them for diplomatically returning Nirav Modi to India. So how does any of this help you? That's how I see it. You could obviously see it differently. That is democracy and freedom of speech. But remember, don't only rant or rage at topics. Do things which you think will lead to some sort of solution, which is in your immediate interest. There are a lot of historical wrongs which have to be corrected. But that is a very long process. And sometimes it's something which is not immediately possible also. So what is immediately possible? Focus on that. All right. So what is sir make a program on oil bonds of Congress for which? Rohan, oil is going to be a big issue in UP election. It is not only Congress to be blamed. I'm sorry. Again, as I told you, I will speak what I believe. If the government doesn't reduce the oil prices, if the oil prices don't come under control, please trust me, it's 7 years of the government. The government could still win it. They could still win it. I'm not denying that. Mustard oil is at 200 rupees. Oil is at 100 rupees. You could still win the elections. Nobody is denying that. But a lot of middle class to lower middle class people are suffering because of the prices. And how that plays out, I don't know. So I would not be, and I'm sure the government is not complacent at all. I'm sure the government knows it is not something to be taken so lightly. So don't dismiss it. You won't. This topic won't end just by saying Congress oil bonds. It's a much more serious and delicate topic. You have to be aware of that. असम सेकंड के बारे में कुछ बताइए ना. बहुत अच्छा सवाल है. कल 6 बजे हिंदी यूट्यूब पे अश्विनी उपाध्याय जिन्होंने पीआईएल डाली है इस पूरे मुद्दे पे कि भारत में पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल कानून होना चाहिए है, वो मेरे साथ होंगे. तो आपके सारे सवाल इस टॉपिक पे मैं तब ले लूंगा हिंदी यूट्यूब पे 6 बजे, इस वाले चैनल पे नहीं. दूसरे चैनल पे. सो आप प्लीज जुड़िएगा और अपन आराम से पूरे मुद्दे को डिस्कस करेंगे, क्या जरूरत है क्या नहीं है, असम भी, यूपी प्लानिंग कमीशन ने भी क्या बोला है और क्या कर सकते हैं. इट विल बी एग्जॉस्टिव डिस्कशन देयर. Why don't you talk about South India and what's happening? Tell me which news do you want me to talk about. I will talk about it. Which news do you want me to talk about? See, usually I do what is daily news and my opinion. Sometimes South India is more in news, sometimes East India is more in news, sometimes North India is more in news. Right now, for example, for a long time, Kisan Andolan, and after that West Bengal election and Assam elections were in news, right? Today also I did one video on Assam in English, right? So that was not North India centric at all. So when it comes to West Bengal, that was a topic going on. That is not North India centric at all. I have in fact not done something about western part of India also. Depends. Sometimes you could have 10 days of South India. Sometimes you could have 10 days of East India. Sometimes North India. Depends on what the topic is. I believe every part of India is equally important. Come on. And you know that. Every part of Bharat is equally important. So Boris Johnson is a nice pro India. I never think any prime minister is good for us or bad for us. I believe it is deeper and much more complex than that. Yes, Boris Johnson is decent for India. I'm not denying that. But these things are way more complex and complicated than this is good for us or that is bad for us. So we have to take. You tell me what issue do you want me to take up? Sir, please take up issues in South. Why won't I take it up? Tell me what do you want to do. Okay, I'll call some guests, and I think there is this judgment. I didn't read it, but somebody was telling me about that Madras High Court has said all 100-plus-year-old temples be declared as heritage structures. I think so. Who was telling me this? I had a conversation with somebody about it. So I will. We can have that on Madras and the law passed on temples. If you would want that, I will call 2-3 guests and we can have a nice conversation on that. If you want it, or if you want something else, okay. Suggest me in comments. Please put the comments which topic from southern part of India you would want to cover. Give me 3-4 options. One of them I will do. No problem. One of them I will do. I was having a one MRV, MR Venkatesh. He's on Republic also very often. MR Venkatesh. So I will call him TR. Oh, in fact, I have a video. You go on my Hindi channel, but this video is in English. It is me, Jai Sai Deepak, TR Ramesh, and MRV. You can go and see that. Is it on this channel or the Hindi channel? Just put the names Ishkaran Bhandari, Sai Deepak, MRV, and TR Ramesh, and you can you will find it. You will find it. Yogi is still CM in 2020. Please do on temples. Okay. Okay. Please do on temples. Okay. Will do on temples. And then I think this is a good topic to do, no? And I will do it. Perfect. It was on English channel. Okay. I will do it on English channel. Dawood brother arrested. Oh, yes. Yes, I saw that news. Dawood brother arrested. Sir, please take a session. I am not very happy as of now with the Prime Minister meeting the Gujjar Gang. I don't. Let's see, why is he meeting? It doesn't seem to be. I don't seem to agree with it, but it's too early to say, so I'm not saying anything. I don't see what we have to do in Jammu Kashmir is what Article 370, the step taken, was towards. We can't slide back. And what sort of things were said about the Gujjar Gang at that time, and let it develop a little bit more. I, as of this moment, don't agree with what is happening or what it looks like it's happening there. I don't agree with it. Do you agree? I think we had to rehabilitate Kashmiri Pandits, Hindus, Sikhs there. I think we had to do delimitation, change the profile of constituencies, ensure that Jammu has its fair and strong share in the assembly, ensure that a chief minister can be somebody who is not only from the valley. Right? We had to do all that. Otherwise, what's the point of removing Article 370? What was it for? If you do not see, solutions have to be long term. If one of the things I have liking about the Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma, is his clear-headed thinking. He is doing it in a very logical and legal manner. After Article 37, Article 370, not 37, and 35A has happened, what is the next step? The next step is rehabilitation. The next step is deciding electoral seats in a manner that other people also have a fair chance of being a chief minister. Why should it only be a Muslim who can be a chief minister in Jammu Kashmir? Why? It should be anybody, no? Sometimes a Muslim, sometimes a Hindu, sometimes a Buddhist, sometimes a Sikh. Why not? But that will only happen when you have delimitation. That will only happen when you define boundaries and territories in a proper manner. So when you ask me, I am not very... let's see what the meeting does. I don't like to prejudge things. Let the meeting happen. Let's see what is being done. But any rollback, any dilution of the purpose of Article 370. What is the point if abolition of Article 370 is just on paper and on ground it's not implemented and not done? I won't be happy with that. Would you be happy with that? But I'm not passing judgments. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, and then I will pass judgment. What's the hurry? In 2 days we can discuss it, and definitely I will discuss it. So in 2 days we can discuss it. But let's see. Sir, India is losing today. Didn't understand. What happened to India? What is India losing? Andhra Pradesh, so Haryana Jat people should settle with Kashmir. I think that is. I think what we need is more systematic than this is. I know light-hearted, fun comment, but what we need is a way more systematic approach. See, the problem is we don't do very systematic approaches. What we need is clusters of people there who have had training, armed forces training, could be retired people who are in their 40s and 50s, so fit. Then we need to have liberal arms licensing norms by the government. Nobody, no matter how strong, can, with his hands, fight if the other person has a gun, right? So it's a very systematic step. But like all you said, that's a light-hearted comment. That's a good comment. It's a funny comment. But we have to have a systems approach. And that is needed. But as I said, I'm not jumping the gun. Let's see what is done on 370 before we finally make up our mind on what is being done. So that would be better. Sir, how can we counter channels like Gujarati? They have great news, even my friends. Well, he makes his content, and if people choose to follow him, that is their choice. Counter them, yes, you can do. Share with your friends channels you think talk sense, you think educate you, spread knowledge, or enlighten you. And if you spread it to your 10 friends that please you subscribe to this channel. For example, let's say if you find I speak sense, or if you find you get some knowledge from me, you tell your 10 friends, oh, I watch him in the evening. Usually I do it in the evening. Unless something strikes me, then I do it at 12 in the night also, or I do it in the afternoon also, since we are not physically in courts. So all it just needs me to take is change my t-shirt from white shirt to this, and we can do it. And once the court start and one is out in the court, physically out in the court, I will be doing it in the night. So if you like it, you can tell your 10 friends to follow Ishkaran's Hindi or English, depending on the language they are comfortable with, or both, because I try to do different things. And if they suggest to 10 more, that's how a chain or ecosystem starts. You cannot stop anybody who's speaking anything. That's freedom of speech. What you can do is bring a separate ecosystem, combine together, request your friends to follow channels or some other channels you like, which you think do the correct narrative for Bharat, and that's how you build it. Build a bigger tower. Don't think of destroying other towers. No point in that. That's my solution. It's a long solution. It's again a systematic solution, but that's where I think solution lies. So we should do that. You're absolutely okay. I hope so. Everybody likes to think they cock sense. On lighter side, have you ever met anybody who doesn't think they talk sense? I have had panelists who are doing grade A bull on TV. You know it as bull, grade A bull, and they still think they are talking sense. So, not being modest, but I'm thinking every human thinks that they talk sense, no? So, क्या बोल सकते हैं? Why is Pakistan so worried about Modi? Because I have no bones about it. Pakistan, frankly, only reason Pakistan exists as a nation to me is their anger, hatred, jealousy, whatever word you want to discuss, against Bharat. Otherwise, there would be a Balochistan, there would be a Punjabi dominated part, there would be a northwest frontier province. It would probably Sindh would be. It would be 4 or 5 parts, and you will call it the remaining part. You will call it Pakistan. Baki bacha hua, Pakistan. So to me, obviously they hate. So that's why they react. They are Pakistan. To me, if any time you'd all call them Pakistan. North Indian, I don't know. Oh dear. No, not at all. Everybody is speaking live. You have 10 debates a day. Who can stage manage it? It is, shows can be stage managed. Because you have one in a day or something. If you have 10 debates, who has the time? So many times I am busy in 10 things, going from debate to debate. No, actually not stage managed. Most channels try to bring people of all viewpoints, some of one side viewpoint, some other side viewpoint, but there is zero stage management that I see. There is zero stage management that I see. Okay, everybody is finding Pakistan funny. Pakistan op. Well, I believe that. Why is media so by? What happened to story session? Story session. You people actually want a story session? Okay, we'll see about it. Sir, what's your take on the recent conversion issue? Very serious issue. I think I made a video also on it. You can check it out. Once I do something, once in a day, maybe once in 2 or 3 days, just go and see videos. I do 1 or 2 videos a day. You can probably see my older videos. And this conversion issue I've covered. And it's a very serious issue. We all know about it. We all know how widespread it is. We all know the sort of inducements they do. And I am happy that government is taking firm action on it. It was high time that they take firm action. In this, you have to praise Yogi Sarkar. You have to praise Yogi Sarkar. 1,000 dead, deaf, dumb kids are being exploited. Women are being exploited. Men are being exploited for conversion. That's a very serious topic. And I, for one, am glad that Yogi Sarkar is taking a serious action on this. A motivational story. Okay. Well, Okay, we will do it then. This Sunday, most probably. I frankly get a little lazy by the time I have to prepare a story and everything. I'll do it. If you want it, I'll do it. Your take on renaming question is gone. Okay, now people have started talking about story sessions. So let me. Okay, I have a slightly strange question. Okay, are there real restrictions in traveling on waterways? Interesting question. I never thought about it. I don't think so. Why should there be? I don't think so. I actually have not studied it. But if you have a private vessel, why should there be a restriction? But in India, anything can be restricted. Abroad, it's not. I don't think so. In India, also, there is a restriction. You people go to so many ghats and you have boats and rowing and everything. You're presumably talking about a luxury yacht. I don't think so. There is any restriction. I pressed a button and I left the screen. Oh, yes. I think I ended this. I think I pressed a button and I ended this. All right. I think I ended it. Do you? Oh, no, you're back. Of course. I have told you 1,000 times. The day you people start believing, no matter which neta, I repeat, every leader is smaller than Bharat. Every leader is smaller than Bharat. If you think India needs to have a dictatorial leader, you are, I'm sorry to say, bonkers. You have lost your marbles if you think India does not need democracy. That's all I will say about it. We always need to have the right to vote out people we don't like. Otherwise, when should a dictatorship be there? 2009, when Congress got more seats than 2004? You want a dictatorship then? Or do you want a dictatorship now, when BJP is in power? What if tomorrow BJP does unbelievably funny things which you don't agree with at all? Don't you want to have the right to vote it out? So, democracy always, no doubt about it. Never any doubt about it. On that note, let me end it. Democracy is the most important feature. Never ever forget that. Take care.